Welcome back, friends, to another New World video. Today we're gonna be going over my current gear in the game. So I'm gonna work through each one of my gear sets here and give you guys a little glimpse at what I'm using and why, and then a few other builds that I'm working on for like tank and a few other fun things. We got this warlock build down here as well. We'll talk about how those work. I find that sometimes people come into the stream and they say, Baggins, I just hit level 65. What do I do? Like, I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm going to talk about like what I'm trying to kind of like work towards, what I've got going on right now, and yeah, just generally bring you guys up to speed with my New World character. So maybe some of you guys find this interesting, maybe not. If you do enjoy this sort of stuff, as always, leaving a like and subscribe is much appreciated. And before we go any further with the video, a quick word from today's sponsor. Judge Ball Lethal Arena is a fast-paced hand brawler where scoring goals isn't the only way to win. With unique champions and abilities across 3 different races, players can take to the arena with a game plan to outscore their opponent or just to cause devastation. You can tweak your playstyle with equipable items to enhance elements of your strategies, and the developers want to hear from you guys, the players, and have open communication with them on Discord to help shape the game. Judge Ball Lethal Arena is currently in open beta and is made by a small team of very dedicated developers who would very much like to hear from you guys. Make sure you check out my link in the description down below. You can check out the game on Steam right now and add it to your wish list. Thank you very much to Judge Ball Lethal Arena for sponsoring this video. Once again, links in the description down below. Okay, so we're gonna kick off this video with my nature, fire, void, frost sort of setup that we've got here. So I'm actually, this is a bit weird. Some people might be a bit surprised that I've done this, but I hate the idea that we need to change the gems every week, you know, changing over gems from void to fire to frost. Some of you guys do ask, is this entirely necessary, Baggins? Like, do I need to change all my gems from like fire, so that's ruby gems, over to aquamarine for Lazarus? I think if you're doing like difficulty 1 or difficulty 2, you probably don't need to bother, no. But when it gets to difficulty 3, especially with like mutations like Fiendish, the ice damage really does kick in very hard, and in that case I do think that you need to start socketing particular gems. And I'm interested in doing M3 because that's where the best gear comes from. You know, we get a lot more 700 gear score items there, which can then help me do more M3 in the future. So for me, it is worth it to socket a full set of gems, and that's basically what's going on here with nature mutation. The main difference between each one of these sets is the fact that we have a different amulet. So I got a health, nature protection, stamina recovery. We got really lucky when we crafted this. We crafted a 2-perk amulet with the chromatic seal and the golden scarab, and the 3rd perk was stamina recovery, which is really, really awesome. I decided to roll these as constitution as well because I just wanted to be able to use them as a tank, healer, and DPS. You know, everybody can use a little bit of constitution. And then the same if we go over to the fire mutation. This one I think we just got as a random drop, but health, divine, flame protection. This one has focus, but I was basically just looking for like health and protection. If I didn't have it, then I would craft it. This one got shirking, debilitating cleanse, which is only when you dodge while you're in a medium equip load, and I do heal. These are all for healing sets, by the way, in case you're wondering. This is my baseline thing, if you haven't guessed already, is healing in New World. I do like playing healing, so these are all just for like healing. They pretty much all use the same life staff as well, so we'll go over that real quick. This is the Fire of Life. It's Blessed, Refreshing Move, and Fortifying Sacred Ground. Some people ask about Fortifying Sacred Ground. Does this not disappear when you weapon swap? In fact, let's just put this on real quick. Some people say, like, if you do that and then you switch away, does Fortifying Sacred Ground disappear? The answer is not quite. So if we step in and we take some damage, you'll see that we're not getting Fortifying Sacred Ground right now. There's no shield symbol. We're not getting Fortifying Sacred Ground. If we switch over, then I think it just expired there. Let's take a bit of damage, then the Sacred Ground, and then we step in. And there's that Fortify symbol there, and it's staying long and strong. You see that 5 seconds constantly repeating until we get to full health. We'll get a friend here, somebody new leveling up a character. Let's give them a wave. Hello, bud. Can I have gold for cooking? How much gold do we give them? Oh! I'm not going to give them a lot of gold. Here's 10 gold, but there you go. Knock yourself out. There we go. I wonder how many people they try that on every day. There you go, buddy. Anyway, what was I saying? Sacred Ground, here we go. I said this was a casual sort of unscripted video. Did I say that? It's a casual unscripted video, in case you couldn't tell. We're gonna go for minimal edits here. Don't worry, Jack. So Sacred Ground, we step into it. We got our 5-second Fortify kicking in there. As soon as you switch away, you see that Fortify is sort of going down, but then if we switch back, it does reapply again. So as long as you're switching back to the life staff once every 5 seconds, it does kick back in. Now, whether you have Fortifying Sacred Ground on your armor or your weapon, it still sort of starts timing down, which is a bit weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense because, you know, the perk on your armor should like always be present, but Amazon made a change a little while back. So yeah, Fortifying Sacred Ground just feels good. Giving everybody the Fortify Sacred Ground I use in pretty much all of my life staff trees, like every single life staff tree I use. Sacred Ground is like a base of it, you know, whether it's we're doing some PvP, then I might typically go for Sacred Ground, and then we'll do Light's Embrace, Divine Embrace, or right now I've got Sacred Ground, Splash of Light, and Beacon. Sometimes we do Sacred Ground, Beacon, and Orb. That's a very common one. So yeah, pretty much all the builds use Sacred Ground, so it made sense to just put Sacred Ground in there. And then Blast and Refreshing Move, I feel like must have perks on your life staff. Some people like to ask about Savior. I think that's pretty good in PvP, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. Let's talk about another mainstay that's in most of my healing builds for these mutations, and that is Life Taker. So I got the Artifact Void Gauntlet. This drops, of course, from Pugnacious Perutu, which is the monkey in the Isle of Zervan. He's located on a floating rock over here, so you get over to the Isle of Zervan. If you don't know how to get to the Isle of Zervan, we'll link a video up in the top right. The final perk that I chose to put on Life Taker was Putrefying Scream. I found this pretty handy. So this set in particular here, Nature Mutations, when it's a Nature Mutation, the enemies tend to do a lot of healing. They have a lot of self-healing. There's an ability called Compost. When they die, they leave a healing circle on the ground. So you can reduce healing by a pretty hefty amount if you do the Putrefying Scream. So that's why I put it on there. It's not always going to be a Nature Mutation, but the chances are it comes in handy sometimes. Even right now with Mutated Lazarus for this week, we still have Indomitable here. So Vampiric 2 says enemies heal for 40% of the damage they do, so they get 40% lifesteal, but you can cut that in almost half if you land Scream on them. So ends up being pretty good in a lot of different PvE scenarios, and it's also excellent in PvP for shutting down enemy healers and shirking heals and all that stuff. So yeah, get a lot of value out of Life Taker and a lot of different content. And then other parts that I have for this build, and you're going to see this like sort of reflected. I'm not going to go too in depth. Actually, there's one more thing that we wanted to talk about. That's the Nimble Coat. I use this in pretty much all of my builds as well. And the Void Mutation, it's in there. The Frost Mutation, it's in there. And you might have noticed I keep the gem. I've just put a diamond gem in this because I wanted one size fits all. I can't sadly have a an amber gem for nature and then a ruby gem for fire. I don't want to change the gem all the time, so I got a bit lazy and I did keep this just as a diamond gem. It might make sense to change it to an opal actually if we're more interested in using it, just for elements. But yeah, this has a refreshing, and then it's got highly refreshing, so it has another 2 stacks of refreshing, so it gives us a lot of cooldown reduction. I do like this a lot when I'm healing. I like this a lot in a lot of builds, to be honest. Just getting your abilities off and being able to use them more often is pretty nice. So another 2 stacks of refreshing is great. And then we got health, refreshing, and the third and final perk that I chose to put on this is Elemental Aversion. I am debating changing this perk to Enchanted Ward, though. Enchanted Ward is pretty good. Elemental Aversion works a lot in mutations, but Enchanted Ward kind of feels like it works everywhere. So they're both pretty good perks. But yeah, this is another mainstay that I have, and the diamond in here. Oh, and we should talk about the diamond in the life staff real quick as well. This is a Rune Glass diamond, so rather than just having a normal diamond, we have a Rune Glass. If we go take a look at a normal diamond, do I have one somewhere? Yeah, here we go. We take a look at these two here. So this one has a normal diamond, 15% damage and outgoing healing. This one says 12% damage and outgoing healing. Hits inflict hex, which does 8% arcane damage per second. So this is the empowered Rune Glass or something like that. It's just a little bit of extra arcane damage on top. Arcane hits the corrupted pretty hard. And it's also a Rune Glass gem that not many other people run, because the problem with the Rune Glass gems when you have these hits inflict hex, or hits inflict burn, or hits inflict frost, they don't stack together. So if somebody else in your party is using the same Rune Glass gem as you, you're kind of like overwriting the extra damage over time effect. But not many people use the arcane one, so that's like a super min-max thing you don't need to really get worried about. But yeah, we got the Rune Glass gem and the life staff there. Is there anything else? Diamond always in the life staff is the way to go. Like, you can't put a gem in Life Taker, so we didn't put a gem in there. And oh, I was just talking about the 2 different things as well. Like, this looks like you're gonna lose healing, because this is 15% damage in healing, this is 12% damage in healing. You don't actually lose any healing. Like, it says that you would go 15 down to 12, but you don't currently. We've tested it multiple times. It's the same healing, so yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let's go over the specific gear, and just you'll see like a pattern of like perks that I'm looking for here. So if we put this set on, I have health, nature harnessing, and refreshing. Nature harnessing would be much better if it was like Enchanted Ward or Elemental Aversion, but it's 700 gear score. And 2 of the perks are pretty good. Health and refreshing is pretty good. So this is effectively like a 2 perk item, and then nature harnessing helps a little bit with some life staff damage. On the gloves, we have shirking fortification, mending protection, and ice harnessing. So again, this is No health on here, no refreshing on here. These are pretty bad gloves, but I needed something with mending protection on, so I crafted these at the outfitting in the first sort of week. I just wanted to get a piece of gear with mending protection on, but we definitely need to update these over time. They're pretty bad. My legs have health, physical aversion, shocking energy. Decent pair of legs here. I think a lot of these are just random drops, by the way. These were crafted. We had to use some of the materials that you get from the Savage Divide, so maybe we can show that later on in the video if you guys are interested. But there's some materials that you get from the Savage Divide, and you can craft specifically with those to make this sort of bestial stuff. It's guaranteed to have intelligence and focus, which is okay stat line for your Void Gauntlet. And then on top of that, like I said, we went for mending protection, and then the other 2 perks were random. So shocking fortification, ice harnessing were random, and yeah, they're not very good. We've already seen the legs here, and then moving on to the boots, we have health, nature harnessing, and freedom. So this is a pretty weak set of gear, to be honest. There's not enough refreshing in it. I don't have keen beacon as well, which is kind of stinky, and this nature harnessing perk doesn't really do too much as well. So this is, you know, over time, what I'm going to be looking for is to replace this with gear, and I might already have some, to be honest. I think I need to go through and take a look, because in my Brightwood storage shed, I've been storing all of the items that look reasonably good. So if we use the sort of perk search feature that we were talking about in the previous video, link to that up in the top right if you guys don't know how to use this feature. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but yeah, let's see, health and refreshing. So we got 2 perks there, and then we have health, refreshing, element. Yeah, so I should just go and replace this helmet. I think this is, some people ask, like, is gear score more important? A 5 gear score difference isn't going to make that much difference to your average gear score, but, you know, this has got an extra perk on it that I could use, so that's just an example of me being lazy and not realizing that I already have a better helmet that I could use right there. Anything else that's, no, yeah, we'll probably have to switch out that helmet at some point. We talked about the amulet already. The ring that I use, and again, you might notice that this is some of the gear has a diamond in it, and that's because we use it in multiple different sets. So this is a ring that I use in all of my healing sets currently. It's Hearty, Healing Breeze, and Keen Awareness. At some point, I do need to make an upgrade to this ring. I want Hearty, Healing Breeze, and Sacred. Keen Awareness doesn't do that much. It has some synergy with the Void Gauntlet, because the Void Gauntlet cares about getting crits. It lowers its, every time you crit, you like are able to use your abilities, like cooldown reduction helps quite a bit with the crit thing. But yeah, we want to really get a Healing Breeze, Hearty, and Sacred Ring there. And then the earring is Refreshing Toast, Empowering Toast, and Regenerating. Again, this is pretty bad at earring. A lot of this is like one of the first sets that I put together for the Nature Mutation, which I think was at the time the Savage Divide. But Refreshing Toast, Healthy Toast, and just Healing Heart. Yeah, I think that's what I would be looking for the most. Healthy Toast, Refreshing Toast, and Healing Heart is what I want on my earring. And then the heart ring I'm using here is Bile Bomb, again for the healing reduction. So that's a quick look at the Nature Mutation set there. Fire Mutation is going to be fairly similar. We have some slightly different perks here and there, but you guys kind of get the idea of what we're looking for here. I do value having health and refreshing quite a bit. We did finally, in this set, we managed to get 4 out of 4 refreshing, but I think we are missing... we got Keen Beacon in this one, but we don't have Mending Protection. So, yeah, I'm still, you know, sort of trying to cobble together some good sets. You know, we've obviously got a really good Life Staff. We've got a good Void Gauntlet, and we do manage to clear M3s, like, relatively easily, apart from M3 Genesis. That's been really difficult. There's that perk I was talking about there, Healing Heart, and then Refreshing. Obviously, this one's got a lot of Ruby Gems in it because we use this for Fire Mutation, so this is what I'm using in Garden of Genesis currently for all of the Flame Protection. And then I put Stalwart Heart Rune of Firestorm. I actually really like this Heart Rune because it cleanses damage over time effects. So it's that bottom line down there. Cleansing Storm cleanses all damage over time effects from allies it passes through. Reduce burn by 15% of Heart Rune damage. So also, one thing I should say that the standard sort of weapon mastery that we'll use with these sets here is just the classic build that we've showcased many times here on the YouTube channel. What am I forgetting? Here, we get this one here. There we go. So this is the sort of typical healing build that I'll be going for, and then the Void Gauntlet would look something like this. And we sort of switch between Scream and Rupture. So Scream is when we're fighting all of the mobs, and then when it comes to a boss fight, I switch over Scream to Refreshing Rupture. Or Essence Rupture, just to get some extra healing for my team. And that's because Scream doesn't do really too much there. So yeah, quick recap over this gear. This stuff, the Fireproof Smile, I think this came from Mile. The Smile stuff comes from Dynasty Shipyard. So I got this during the Dynasty week, Health and Physical Aversion. By the way, there is a really good set of gear that you guys can farm this week. It's the Guardian Protector stuff. I think I've got some of it in one of these sets down here. Yeah, this Forgotten Protector stuff has Health and Elemental Aversion, and then the third perk is randomly rolled, so you could get Health, Elemental Aversion, Refreshing, Health, Elemental Aversion, thrust conditioning or something like that. There's a lot of good combos that can come out of that. We'll get down to that gear in a second. Fireproof profane gloves. I think, yeah, again, a lot of these are just random drops that I've acquired that had, you know, I was looking for the sort of perks. So the perks I'm typically looking for: health, refreshing, weapon perks, obviously important, and then elemental aversion or enchanted ward are usually like the sort of fill perks after that. So yeah, ice harnessing not doing too much, but this has got good, you know, we're looking for 2 good perks basically. So in this one we have health and enchanted ward. On the legs, we have Keen Beacon and Refreshing. Looks doing absolutely nothing. On this one, we have Health Refreshing. Void Harnessing is like really, really minor. Again, it would be much better if it was Enchanted Ward or Mending Protection. The coat we've already seen. And then the helmet has Health, Physical Aversion, Strike Conditioning. Don't really rate Physical Aversion or Strike Conditioning that much. This would be better if it was like Health, and then this one up here, Enchanted Ward, and then the third perk. I guess some sort of conditioning would be okay, or maybe even grabbing like Nullifying Oblivion or something for Oblivion to come off cooldown a bit faster would be nice. Right, we're not going to spend too much time on the other mutation sets because I think you guys are just generally getting the idea. I'm just sort of picking up items that look like they have some decent perks. So I'll quickly mouse over these and then you can pause if you want to take a look at them. But again, I want to stress that these are not like super optimal most of the time. These are sort of items that I have, and I'm in between trying to transition to get better stuff. So, you know, with some sets we have managed to get 4 out of 4 refreshing, which is pretty good. But then there's certainly perks that I would like to replace. Like I'd like to replace Freedom here with Keen Beacon. I would like to replace Physical here with Mending Protection, because this set doesn't have Keen Beacon or Mending Protection. And then I want to start stacking up the old Enchanted Ward as well. So yeah, definitely some improvements that can still be made, but this gear is good enough to get you through M3 in my opinion. So you just got to get the sort of baseline laid down of getting, you know, a good amount of health, a good amount of Enchanted Ward, getting the relevant perks that you care about, and then also making sure that you can stack up a good amount of refreshing, and obviously the gems are going to make a big deal as well. There's a pretty good earring you can craft in the Gypsum Kiln. It has Healthy Toast, Refreshing Toast, and then the third perk is randomly rolled. Unfortunately, the random roll that I got was Duplicating Toast, which is really bad. Like, this sucks. But if we could get Healthy Toast, Refreshing Toast, and then that Healing Heart perk, I think that we saw in here, then this would be an absolute bomb of an earring, other than the fact that it's got Magnify. Yeah, that's one of the problems with this Void mutation set, is I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different pieces of Magnify, which makes it quite hard to get my stats right, because Magnify, if you guys have played with it, you'll know it's not very fun. It kind of ruins your day. And then finally, moving on to the Frost mutation set. Again, there's some real jank in here. We've got Health, Leeching Path of Destiny, Elemental Aversion. We've got the Mending Protection here, Refreshing. So I think, do we have the 4 out of 4 refreshing stacks in this one? We do have 4 out of 4 refreshing here as well. Unending Thorn not doing anything for me there. Health, Refreshing, Vigor, and then the Amulet. We've already seen this one, I want to say, but Health, Frozen Protection, Refreshing. And then we have Healing Heart. Oh, this is almost it. Healthy Toast, Regenerating, and Healing Heart. So if this was Healthy Toast, Refreshing Toast, Healing Heart, this would be pretty good. But yeah, you can see my gear sets kind of get better as we go further down, as we made these sort of new sets. So that's a look at the sort of healing sets that I use for different mutations. It's kind of like a various combinations of the same perks, but again, the perk priority for me is getting those refreshings, getting a few pieces of health and enchanted ward, and then getting that Mending Protection, Keen Beacon, and any other perks that we care about, maybe like Voracious Blade for the Void Gauntlet, etc. All right, let's move over to the tank set. This is going to be a little bit more exciting now. This is a work in progress build, and at this point, I feel like it would be a pretty good like time to show you guys a new website that we've been working on as well. We'll just plug something like sort of halfway through the video. So this here, friends, is Player versus New World. Now, depending on when you watch this video, we might have an updated version of the website. In fact, we should probably show the updated version of the website. I'll show you guys real quick just that you get an idea of what's going on. This is like version 1.0. We got version 2.0 coming soon. It looks a lot cleaner, but from here we have been uploading the builds, so you know, the sort of attributes that I'd recommend going for. Then we got the skill trees down here, you can click on to get them to pop up as well. We have the gear here, and you can hover over it to see the sort of perks. So this is the ideal version of like what we're showing here in game, and then what we're showing here on the website. This is like the best, you know, this is what I'm aiming to go for eventually. So yeah, you can take a look at what I'm currently doing, and then you can take a look at where I want to take the builds going forward with Player versus New World. So this is pvnw.net, but I'll also put a link to it in the description down below if you want to check it out. All right, so here's my tank set. This is a fun one that I've been looking forward. I haven't actually had a chance to play this in game yet, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be good. I crafted a flail for this one, which is the Mithril Flail of the Soldier. So we made this at the Arcana station using a Golden Scarab. I locked in Refreshing Move and Crowded Bludgeon, and then the third perk that came out was Blessed, which is, you know, okay. It's again, we're not really using this as a healer, so it's a bit unfortunate that we got Blessed because we're not going to have a whole lot of extra healing, but I guess some more outgoing healing would help us generate more threats. So yeah, Refreshing Move I really like to have on the flail, so you can just sort of go whoop whoop and just you know, get cooldown reduction. So we use our abilities and then we hit them with the flail over and over again to cool down, so we can use those abilities more often. The Warhammer here that I have is Keen, Vicious, and Sundering Clear Out. This was just a random drop that I got from Tempest Heart, I want to say. Looking at the Corrupted, I think this is a Tempest Heart sort of item. But Sundering Clear Out is a really good item for tanks, and just generally good sort of perk to have on your Warhammer for any Warhammer players. So do enjoy that Sundering Clear Out there. And then taking a look at the armor, we have Health, Sundering Shockwave, and Enchanted Ward. So pretty good helmet here, pretty solid. I don't think there's really any improvements that we could make here. On the chest piece, we have Health, Grit Ward, and Lightning Harnessing. Lightning Harnessing, not really going to do too much for us in this particular build, but it was the highest sort of gear score chest piece that I had that had decent perks. I am looking to stack up quite a bit of this Grit Ward because I should mention stats for this build. I'm planning to play let's do one respec. I don't want to respec the whole video, but if I can, my goal in the long run is to play 300 con and 300 strength. So we want to get like 300. Don't think I have anywhere near enough sort of stats to do it right now, though. If I pop stat food, then, and we didn't have these points into here, yeah, I think we could do it, but right now, yeah, this is good old Magnify. Yeah, so 300 is where I'm aiming to take this build, but we would need stat food, and we would need to drop some of these awkward items that have, yeah, this dexterity focus is losing us quite a few stats as well. So having a sort of similar version of this chest piece, but instead of dexterity focus, it would just be strength or con. And then the lightning harnessing, I think we probably just want to go for, what would I want here? Health, Grit Ward, and then I think there's probably like Mending Vortex would be good for the flail. Yeah, I think Mending Vortex would be pretty good here. Or we could just take, I don't know if you can have Elemental Evasion and Grit Ward. I don't think we can. So maybe like Slash Conditioning, or like I say, potentially another perk for the flail, like Mending Vortex is not too bad as well. Gloves we got here, these are really good. Health, Refreshing, and Enchanted Ward. You have a chance to get these when you do mutated dungeons. The Azoth Crystal Gauntlets are just available. I think it's from like M2 onwards. You can also make these at the Gypsum Kiln, provided you've got some mutated materia. We are going to do a separate video on this. But if you guys have been working on your season pass and you've been sort of getting close to finishing it, you'll have been getting these boxes here that have 3,500 dense Ennead materia, and then we have 2,000 dense mutator materia. So yeah, and then there's another 2,000 there. There's another 2,000 dense mutator materia. There's another 2,000 dense mutator materia. Another. So I think you get about 20,000 dense mutator materia, and then you can use that mutator materia to make items like this. And this, you know, this is really good. Like, this is kind of best in slot for me. It's a shame it's Magnify, but everything else is looking pretty awesome. So yeah, Health Invigorated, Elemental Aversion, Invigorated not that great, but it'll do for now. And then Enchanted Ward, Refreshing, and Thrust Conditioning. So yeah, ideally we would have Health as the bottom perk down there, and maybe we'd look to get a bit more Grit Ward on some pieces as well. But this tank set's looking pretty strong in my opinion. I've got the Frozen Protection Amulet in there now because I was thinking about taking this into Lazarus, and to that extent, I'd probably need to go all cut pristine aquamarine. So we need to do those are opal gems. We need to do more aquamarine for the ice damage absorption, because I think I'm going to take this into M3 Laz, and just Laz is like a really good dungeon to just kind of test the waters with your builds, because it's a pretty easy dungeon. So yeah, like if you guys are sort of playing around with builds, I'd recommend jumping into Laz for that one. The tower shield we got here, again, I think this was just like a random drop. It's got Hated, Sturdy Energy. Not entirely sure if we'd really want Hated on the shield, but I don't know what else I would take in its slot for now. Usually on the tower shield, I always like to have Fortifying Shield Rush, but there isn't really that equivalent for the flail here. So yeah, that's what we got for now, and I think it's okay. The ring that we got was another one of the Azoth pieces of gear. It's got Hearty, Refreshing, and Leeching, so a good little bit of sustain there. I think Hearty strike damage and Leeching would also be really good. I think that's what I'd like to see long term. Is I'd love to get a strike damage ring for this, because we have a lot of striking damage with the flail and a lot of striking damage with the Warhammer, so probably boost up our damage. And then we could take this Refreshing from the ring and slap it onto, you know, the legs here, so have health, Refreshing, Elemental Aversion. And then the earring, we've got Refreshing Toast, Despised, and Regenerating. I think this is actually probably a best in slot earring for a tank. This come from Dynasty Shipyard, funny enough, Dynasty's earring. So yeah, pretty solid earring here. Regenerating's pretty nice, just to generate a little bit extra threat. Also, you get extra incoming healing while you're standing in sacred ground from regenerating, so that's pretty pog. The heart rune that I use for my tank build is the Stalwart Heart Rune of Stoneform. I did upgrade this to 700 gear score, so this gives us grit a little bit longer, which is going to be good for taking advantage of that grit ward. We're already at 300 constitution, but you know, this just makes you basically unkillable while you pop this. And then a quick look at the sort of skill tree that I'm thinking of running for this kind of tank build is something like this. So we got Smite, with the Ironclad superiority, so we're using a tower shield. We get the 30% fortify from this one here. Also can apply some weaken, get the lifesteal effect, so Smite's pretty awesome. I decided to go with Trip. I'm not sure, I might change Trip to something else. Maybe we just want to get the other taunt here. Barrage is a taunt gem compatible. Obviously we got the Carnelian gem in our flail, and I would need to put a Carnelian gem in this Warhammer. By the way, yeah, again, these builds aren't finished yet, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys what we're doing. But I think, you know, with the flail and then putting the Carnelian in it and having the crowded bludgeon, the idea is that we could probably like trigger taunts over and over again, because we get the big cooldown reduction there, and then with the refreshing move, and then Trip to sort of knock enemies and disrupt them, and then we've got a lot of disruption with the Warhammer as well. So part of the way that I envision this build working is kind of just interrupting the enemies continuously. So you know, using lots of stuns from the Warhammer and then tripping them with the flail, and then just reapplying bludgeon over and over again. The Warhammer skill tree I don't think is in a good spot right now, because we're actually using this Warhammer skill tree for a different build, but it would probably be like Shockwave, obviously Clear Out because we got Cinder and Clear Out, and then I think I would probably take Wrecking Ball as the final upgrade here. So Wrecking Ball, Shockwave, Clear Out, and then I would get the Aftershock Ultimate and grab a few passes with that. If you guys do want to see the tank build, like I say, it will be on the website eventually. The links to that in the description down below. All right, I'm realizing that unfortunately we have been rambling for a really long time, guys. I don't like to generally do like 30-minute plus videos. I just don't think they do too well on the channel. However, if you do want to see more of this stuff, if you want to see the Warlock and the Brute build, consider clicking the like button and subscribing. Also, if you hop into the stream, I'll be happy to show you guys what's been going on here, what we got with this spicy blunderbuss with the shirking lightning, and then we got the lightning hammer here from Lazarus, and then we've got our Warlock build over here using the Abyss as well. There's some cool stuff. I've been playing around with these in PvE and PvP, so these are my DPS builds down here. They've been I've been enjoying them a lot, and I'm looking forward to playing more around with these sort of artifacts and weird build styles in the future. So yeah, if you guys want to see more of that, like I say, hop into the stream. Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know if this video was useful to anybody. I feel like I kind of just rambled for a long time, but maybe you guys found it useful to see how I'm currently gearing, what changes I'm planning to make, and I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, as always, friends, if you enjoyed this one, make sure you go ahead, click the like button, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.